how do we now account to Nigerians that the entire 2025, with all the revenue we generated, we have not spent a dime? Why is the money? Why has it gone?
Federal government is proposing to borrow 17.89 trillion naira to finance a projected 20.12 trillion naira deficit in the 2026 budget framework. The planned borrowing, a sharp increase from 2025 levels, is raising concerns as debt servicing continues to absorb a significant share of government revenue. Arise correspondent Frank Omalape reports.
The federal government plans to borrow 17.89 trillion naira in 2026 to fund a 20.12 trillion naira budget deficit, a 43% increase from the 14.1 trillion naira deficit recorded in 2025. According to the 2026 budget core circular issued by the Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning, 80% of the borrowing, that's 14.1 trillion naira, will come from domestic sources, while 20% equivalent to 3.58 trillion naira will be sourced externally. Capital expenditure is projected to decline from 26.19 trillion naira in 2025 to 22.37 trillion naira in 2026. Debt servicing is expected to consume 45% of government revenue in 2026, rising to 53% in 2027 before moderating in 2028. Debt service costs are projected to increase from 13.94 trillion naira in 2025 to 15.52 trillion naira in 2026. Total borrowing is also projected to rise to 21.18 trillion naira in 2027 before easing to 15.84 trillion naira in 2028. Despite the widening deficit, the government projects the deficit to GDP ratio will decline from 4.17% in 2025 to 3.61% in 2026, driven by a larger GDP base. However, concerns persist over capital budget implementation. Data indicates that while trillions of naira and billions of dollars were borrowed between 2023 and 2025 for capital projects, execution rates have fallen short of expectations. Analysts are urging the National Assembly to vigorously scrutinize the new borrowing request and assess the performance of previous loans before granting approval. With debt servicing rising and capital spending declining, questions remain over whether increased borrowing will translate into tangible infrastructure and economic growth or further strain Nigeria's fiscal position. Frank